Your message with Solent, or give us a ring. That and anything else you want to get in touch with, actually. Birthdays, anniversaries. Phone number is 0808 100 3800.
BBC Radio Solent.
Now, you probably heard this in the news at 7 with David, that motorcyclists are roughly 52 times more likely to be killed in a road accident than car drivers. It's a shocking statistic. Campaigns now underway to buck the trend in springtime biker fatalities. It involves Dorset Police, the Dorset Road Safe Partnership and the charity DocBike, which aims to prevent motorcycle collisions. Well, our reporter Lawrence Herdman has more.
Nationally, there's around 10 fatal or serious injury collisions involving a motorbike every day. The aim of this campaign is to reduce the number of motorcyclists killed or seriously injured on Dorset roads, where often the impact is devastating.
You didn't see the surgeons trying to stop the internal bleeding. You didn't see his mother's face when the police told her son had died. You didn't see his football mates hold a minute's silence. You didn't see his younger brother suddenly start getting into trouble at school. But then you didn't see him on his motorbike at the junction when you pulled out. 30 bikers are killed or injured every day at junctions. So drivers take longer to look for bikes.
The voice of an actor describing the grief-stricken impact on a family and friends of losing a son. Over the past 5 years, up to the end of 2020, there have been over 1,200 motorbike collisions on Dorset roads. That's resulted in 26 riders losing their life and nearly 400 bikers seriously injured. Here's Inspector Joe Pardy from Dorset Police.
So what we've seen in terms of causation is actually a generic split between motorcycle blameworthy or fault and also car or other vehicle driver fault and blameworthiness. So we see that junctions are a key issue for us, certainly in terms of motorists seeing motorcyclists. And that's part of our campaign around the Think Bike, Have You Been Seen?
Unsurprisingly, the number of motorbike collisions went down last year with less traffic on the roads during lockdown. But with COVID restrictions easing and the warmer weather on the way, the safety message is more important than ever.
So we know there's an increase in motorcycle casualties between April and October, and that's probably down to the fact that the weather is much finer, so motorcyclists are more likely to be out and about on their motorcycles, and of course the road network is also busier. And in Dorset particularly, we know that there are some lovely scenery that you can enjoy as a motorist, and of course that does attract motorcyclists to Dorset as well.
Dozens of signs have been put up at collision hotspots in Dorset, reminding all road users to think bike and have you been seen. They've appeared on the A31, the A3066 south of Mosterton and the A352 from Wareham to Swanage. Another location is the B3157 Coast Road from Chickerell to Bridport, which has seen 10 serious and 2 fatal collisions in a 4-year period.
The amount of miles that are travelled on motorcycles compared to the casualties that we suffer, there is quite a difficult comparison there because a lot of motorcyclists are seriously injured and killed on our roads. So it's really important that we try and focus both motorcyclists and other road users in trying to keep everybody safe. Really, I actually think we're leading nationally in terms of what we're trying to do around motorcyclists this year. Because it's not all about police enforcement, it's not all about engineering, it's not all about engagement, it's about bringing those things together, working together to try and reach out to as many people as we can as a team in whatever format that takes to improve the road safety in Dorset.
The human brain isn't very good at seeing small objects travelling towards it at speed, so this is all about not just the motorcyclist, but driver behaviours as well.
Lawrence Herdman with that report. Well, Dr. Ian Mew is from the DocBike charity. He's an intensive care consultant and a paramedic motorbike rider. Ian, thank you ever so much for coming onto the programme. Morning to you.
Morning.
Good morning. It's good to talk to you. Let's first of all talk about this campaign, because this is all about trying to stop and prevent motorbike accidents happening in the first place.
Yeah, absolutely. As you heard Inspector Pardee saying, I mean, motorcyclists don't fare well when they're in a collision. I fly on the Dorset and Somerset Air Ambulance, and we go to countless motorcyclists throughout the year who have been involved in a serious collision. And unfortunately, trying to put motorcyclists back together just doesn't work. So trying to prevent them from being in a collision in the first place just makes a phenomenal amount of sense, really.
How useful has this partnership been then with Dorset Police? We heard there about the road areas that are being targeted and the conversations that are taking place. How effective is that proving?
Well, we won't know, and trying to demonstrate that something hasn't happened is always more difficult than showing that something has happened. But having the partnership with the police and the council and road safety partnership has been brilliant, because it's actually involved bikers in the road signs. We've had over 2,400 bikers go through our website, help design the signs that are put up all around the county to highlight to all road users where the collision hotspots are. So if you're a biker, you're just going to let off on the throttle a little bit, have a bit more awareness that a vehicle may pull out in front of you, because in that area, that's what's happened in the past. And if you're another vehicle user, you're just going to take that extra time to pull out and look for bikes before you pull out, because we know that unfortunately other people have had collisions with motorbikes in those areas. So the partnership is brilliant, and I really do think it's a beacon for other areas to follow, really.
I know it's a subject we've talked about before, but it's worth reminding people. I mean, why are motorcyclists making up such a high percentage of the fatalities and the serious injuries on our roads?
And there's two factors, really. The first is, if I took a dart from a dartboard and threw it towards your face, which isn't a nice thing to do, but the low profile of the dart means that you would be unlikely to see it coming towards you. And also, if you were able to see it, you'd be unlikely to judge its speed in order to catch it before it hits your face. That's how motorcyclists appear to road users waiting at a junction. Either you don't see them coming towards you, or if you do, you can't judge their speed accurately. So if you pull across their path, it might be that you actually pull into the motorcyclist. So motorcyclists aren't seen, and as a motorcyclist myself, I've had instances where I've almost hit a motorcyclist, and I'm actually part of the DocBike campaign. So motorcyclists are much more vulnerable because we don't see them. And of course, when they are involved in a road collision, they don't have seat belts, a roll cage, airbags, and so they're much more likely to be seriously injured or killed if they're involved in that collision than if you're within the safety of a car.
Well, what about the training when it comes to riding a motorbike? I mean, I've never ridden one. I mean, they look incredible machines to be able to ride, but I just don't think I'd ever have the confidence to do it. What about the bike courses? I mean, are they offering enough help and enough guidance to motorcyclists to start with to make sure that they are fully aware of the risks?
I mean, I think that's a really good point, because I ride a motorbike, and I've ridden a bike since I was 16, and we absolutely love bikes, and the DocBike charity itself is passionate about motorbikes, and the last thing we want to do is stop people riding motorbikes or put people off riding motorbikes. But there is a lot that you can do to upskill your ride, be a more skillful rider, and be more aware of the environments in which motorcyclists get knocked off their bikes, so that you're more prepared for that vehicle that's going to pull out in front of you or pull across your path. So there are courses such as Bike Safe and advanced courses that you can do that will give you the skills to reduce your chance of being involved in a collision. But actually just being aware that vehicles aren't going to see you as a motorcyclist, no matter whether you've got your headlights on and your high vis on or where you are on the road, you aren't going to be seen as a motorcyclist, and be prepared for vehicles to pull across your path. So if you are tanking it down a nice straight A road, you may well have the right of way, but actually it's not going to help you if you're involved in a collision because someone hasn't seen you. So you've just got to back off that throttle when there are other vehicles in the vicinity, and be aware that they may well pull into your path.
Ian, what about technology? Is that improving now in bikes and in cars actually to help in terms of safety?
There is some emerging technology coming out. There are some electronic bikes coming out of Canada that have some sort of advanced technology that will help you predict when a vehicle's going to pull into your path. But to be honest, at the moment, especially in cars and bikes, the technology isn't there to warn us of an impending motorcycle collision. And so that's why this campaign is so important. It really is the need to allow other road users to take a bit of extra time, think bike, make sure there isn't a bike in that gap of traffic that you're just about to pull out into. And for motorcyclists, we've really got to rely on them being prepared for other vehicles pulling out and ride accordingly.
Ian, thank you very much indeed for your time this morning. Dr. Ian Mew, who's from the DocBike charity, also an intensive care consultant and paramedic motorbike rider. It's 18 minutes past 7 now.
The sound of the South. Lou Hannon. BBC Radio Solent.
In for Alan Newman this morning on Wednesday the 7th of April. Weather-wise...